Now, obviously, not only do you have to get your pollination requirements right for fruit trees, you've also got to get their maintenance right. So that's pruning, watering and feeding. The other thing you've got to do is you've got to mulch them. Now, when we had this orchard initially, I tried to put a wheelbarrow load of woody bark chip mulch around each tree, but the chooks and animals just scattered it everywhere. So over time, we've worked out that the only thing you can do is to use a really heavy mulch and to mulch the whole area. Ideally, you should use a woody-based mulch on woody plants because a woody mulch is basically fungal dominant, which is what these woody plants want. So over the last couple of years, we've invested in about 120 cubic metres of a really coarse cut landscape mulch. Now, it's basically the cheapest mulch I could get. And when you look at it, you might even see some plastic impurities. You'll see bottle caps and all sorts. Now, can I explain that this woody mulch is basically what's coming out of our green bins? People in the suburbs that have a green bin that gets collected, it gets taken, it gets chopped up. And the landscape mulch is sort of the first cut. And because people are putting plastic junk and rubbish into their green bin, that gets cut up too. So if ever you see any impurities in mulch, please don't blame the organics recycling company. It's actually the people that are putting plastics and rubbish in the green waste stream. So this mulch has made a huge difference to the whole orchard. So the whole orchard is mulched. I've also started watering with wobblers. These throw large droplets and I do a long soak about once a week. And since I've combined mulching the whole area with the wobblers, I've had really good cropping and the trees are really healthy. Now, the wobblers I've got 5 different rows of 3 wobblers set up, and when I put them on, they have a broad spread. But the importance with fruit trees, you need to be consistent with your watering. If you let trees dry out while they're carrying fruit, they'll actually drop that fruit. Those guys are why I put the net over this place, because we get hordes of them. Now, one of the quirky things that's actually happened this last year, which I've never had before, is last autumn we had a very early frost. The frost actually came in early April, before Easter. And at the time I had pumpkins growing everywhere in my pumpkin patch. Now what the frost did is it killed off all the foliage of the pumpkins and it exposed the pumpkins. Now, within a couple of days, we had a 30-degree day. And at the time I said to Richard, these pumpkins haven't got to harden off properly. While I'm going to store them and put them in the cellar, I think they're going to go rotten a lot more than we would usually expect. And that's exactly what happened. Pumpkins probably went rotten twice as much as they normally would. Usually I can keep pumpkins for 12 months in the cellar. As a matter of fact, a couple of nights ago, we had the last pumpkin that was harvested last year. So that's basically a year on. But what I did with the rotten pumpkins, because they're absolutely vile, I would simply put them into a bucket and then throw them in here in the orchard, and the chooks and animals would pick through them. But what I didn't expect is the fact that I actually got an amazing crop of pumpkins in here. And I hate to admit that these accidental pumpkins are probably going to be more fruitful than the pumpkins I actually planted out in my pumpkin patch. Now, all these pumpkins are all going to be mixed breeds because pumpkins are quite promiscuous and they cross-pollinate very readily. And so the ones that I planted in my pumpkin patch were true breeds, whereas these could be Sophie's Patch Specials. But I'm quite enjoying having these amazing pumpkins turn up all by accident and being so productive. Hope you enjoyed this video explaining the thinking behind my orchard. It's one of my favourite places and these are some of my favourite creatures. Sorry about all the animal noises. That's just part of life here. See you next time.